now we have to decide which solutions we wanted. It told me less than. Less than 0 means positive or negative. Negative. Equal to means parenthesis or bracket. Bracket. So it's everything between those. So it'd be bracket -3, comma 5. All right. Any questions there? So that's where we ended yesterday. We were doing these quadratics. Today I want to look at some rationals. So let's take a look at one. All right. I have to be a little bit careful. If this were an equal to, we would probably just do what first? Yes. We would multiply by the x plus 4 and get rid of the fraction, right? Here's the thing. It's an inequality. In an inequality, if you multiply by a negative, what happens to your inequality? It flips. Do we know if x plus 4 is positive or negative? No. So we can't multiply by it because we wouldn't know if we had to flip our sign or not. So we have to have a totally different approach. What we're going to do instead is try to get a single fraction on one side and 0 on the other. So we're going to treat it kind of like these quadratics. We've had two things multiplied on one side, 0 on the other. We're trying to get it to two things divided and 0 on the other. So I'm going to subtract over my 1. This is like a 1 over 1. If you want to add or subtract with fractions, what do we have to have? Common denominator. So what would I have to do? I'm going to take this times x plus 4 on top and bottom. So I have 5 over x plus 4 minus x plus 4 over x plus 4. Alright, it's a subtraction, so what do we do with that? We just need to subtract it. We could change it to a positive and run a negative through here. Now I have a common denominator, so I can put these together. The bottom will just be x plus 4. On the top, we have a 5 and a negative 4, so that will be a 1 minus x. So we weren't able to just get rid of the fraction, but I got it down to one side, single fraction greater than 0. So now think of it like the multiplication ones. Once we had it factored, what did we do? We set each of them equal to 0. Right? That's what we're going to do here. Top and bottom equal to 0. What makes 1 minus x equal 0? 1. What makes x plus 4 equal 0? Negative 4. Alright, and if you guys need to work those out, feel free to. You know, if you have something like 3x plus 5 and you can't tell, you can work it out as an equation. Okay, I'm kind of skipping that step, but show whatever work you need to. Now we do our test points. So smaller than negative 4, in between them, and then bigger than 1. All right, I'm going to plug these in. So if I did 1 minus negative 5, so is that positive or negative? Positive. Over negative 5 plus 4 is negative. A positive divided by a negative. If we put in a 0, 1 minus 0, positive 1. 0 plus 4, positive 4. Positive divided by positive. Okay, if we put in a 2, 1 minus 2 is negative. 2 plus 4, positive. Negative divided by a positive. now look back. Which one were we supposed to have? Alright, so we wanted positives. Equal to means bracket. You have to be a little bit careful though. Because if I write bracket -4 comma 1, that's wrong. Why? Yes, you cannot have 0 on the denominator. Which one of those makes the denominator 0? -4. So even though it had an equal to, -4 has to get a parenthesis because we cannot divide by 0. Alright, so on these fractions, even if you have an equal to, you will never end up with 2 brackets. And we're going to have a parenthesis on the denominator every time. Any questions on that? Let's try some more. What would I do here? Subtract our 4 over. Okay, it's like a 4 over 1. If I want to add or subtract, we need a common denominator, so I'm going to take this times 2x minus 3 on top and bottom. Now what? Switch our signs because we're subtracting, and then since the denominator is the same, we can put them together. So 3 plus -8 is -5x. 1 plus 12 is 13. I have single fraction, I have 0 on the other side. Now I need my numbers. So I need to know what makes -5x plus 13 equal 0. So we get 13/5. We need to know what makes 2x minus 3 equal 0. So that's 3/2. Which one's smaller? 3/2. Okay. Test points. Smaller than 3/2? 0. In between. This is like 1.5 and 2.4. So we could do a 2. Bigger? 3. I put in 0. I get a positive on top, negative on the bottom, that's negative. If I put in a 2, -10 plus 13 is positive, 4 minus 3 is positive, 2 positives make a positive. Put in a 3, -15 plus 13 is negative, 6 minus 3 is positive, and so that's negative. Which ones did we want? Negatives. Less than 0 is negative. I didn't even ask for equal to, so we don't have to worry about our denominator issue. It's just negative infinity to 3/2 union 13/5 to infinity. Do you guys think you can try one? All the enthusiasm out there. You guys try this. Subtract over the 4. Multiply by x minus 3 on top and bottom so we can get a common denominator. Distribute your negative. So you get 18 minus 4x over x minus 3. Alright, we need top and bottom equal to 0. So that's 9 halves and positive 3. So 3 is smaller, 9 halves, that's like 4.5. So smaller, in between, bigger. If you put in a 0, you get a positive over a negative, which is negative. Put in a 4, 18 minus 16 is positive, 4 minus 1 is, 4 minus 3 is positive, and that's positive. You put in a 5, 18 minus 20 is negative, 5 minus 3 is positive, so that's negative. We want a greater than or equal to, so greater than is positives, equal to means bracket, but which one cannot have a bracket? The 3. Any question? Other questions? How are we doing with these? Okay. Do we need more problems? Okay. Then I'm done. So tomorrow we are going to cover the last section in this chapter, and then Thursday will be a review day. Our test is Friday. Right? I have study guides. I'll go ahead and probably hand those out. I don't know if you guys want it now. I'll go ahead and hand them out today in case you get done with this assignment. So this is, I gave you most of it yesterday. I don't remember exactly where I left off. Okay, so only a few more problems to add to it. So this is due tomorrow, and I'll give you the study guides in case you get